Okay, so we have these history items now. We have to hook up this star button still, which doesn't do anything yet. And in order to do that, we need to create a new slice. So we have this history slice, which is responsible for managing the state for our history items. We also want one for saved items, because we do want to store saved items in the state as well, just like we do with the history. So we'll start by going to the File Explorer, and I'll go to the store, and I'll create a new file in that folder, and this will be called saved items slice.js. Now maybe you want to call this starred items, it's up to you, but I'll just call it saved items, and I'll just start by copying and pasting the whole code from history slice into saved items slice. And then I'll of course update the name from history slice to saved items slice, and then copy that name, and I'll update the export at the bottom, and the same for this part right here. Now we obviously don't want to call this history, I'll just call this saved items. Initial state, we can actually keep the initial state the same, because we're going to have saved items and it will be an array, so we'll just call it items. The function though will change, we'll call this set saved items, and for now I'll just get rid of that, and I'll just log something in here. Starred. Okay, cool. So we do need to update the export at the bottom here. So instead of exporting add history item, we'll export the set saved items. And I think that's good for now. So let's go back to our translation result object, which is of course this part at the bottom, and we will call that. So in there, underneath where we've got the use selector, I'll go ahead and create a function const star item equals, and we'll set this in a use callback because we will be passing this function into the button itself. And in there, I'll put my function, my arrow function like this, and then the dependency list. I don't know what it's going to be yet, so I'll set it to an empty array, and I'll come back and update that once we know. So here we'll need to decide whether we are starring it or unstarring it, but we'll get to that shortly. What I'll do first is just make sure we can call that function. So you might remember the only way we can dispatch actions, which is what these are, actions, the only way we can dispatch actions is by using the dispatch method. So we need to actually create that. We did this earlier. It's just const dispatch equals use dispatch, and make sure you get that import, that use dispatch import from Reactor Redux. Okay, cool. So we have that function now, which allows us to dispatch actions. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll call dispatch, and there, what are we going to dispatch? Our new function, which was set saved items. Obviously, make sure we get the import there as well, and that should be good. So I think, oh, now we've got dispatch there. We'll set dispatch as a dependency, and then we just need to hook that up. So take the star item function you just created, and let's go down to the touchable opacity, and we'll just say on press equals, and then put star item in there. So if let me stop the server and restart it, we should be good to go now. Once we press the star button, we should see our log. Get rid of it. Let me close some of these tabs down. I've got too many open. Oh no, we won't yet actually. I was just closing down that tab, reminded me. So in this configure store part right here, we set the reducers. Currently we have the history one. We need to add the saved items one. So saved items, and set this to saved items slice. So make sure you have that import too. And now it should be good. So let me restart this. Oh, I need to kill the app and restart it. Alright, so here we are. Now, of course, the state will reset every time you restart the app, so we need to add a couple of new items in there. And if I press this now, we should see starred. Great. So every time we press it, we'll see starred. So we know we're calling the right function. So that's all good, but let's go ahead and actually add some behavior to this. So what do we want to do in here? Well, essentially, we have this function here, or this action, which will allow us to set the saved items. Now, we need to know whether we're starring it or unstarring it, because remember, if they've starred it already, pressing it again unstars it, and then pressing an unstarred item will star it. So we need to know what we're doing here. So what we'll do is retrieve the saved items from the state, and then we'll just check that in here to see whether the item's already been starred or not. It's actually pretty simple. So under here, where we've got this const item, what I'm going to do is duplicate that line, and this will be saved items, and it's very simple. We're just going to return state.saveditems.items. So I'll get rid of that and to return state.saveditems.items. So saved items, of course, is what we named it in the store, so make sure it matches that. And then inside the items slice, we have this items property. So that's what we're accessing there. So that saved items will give us an array of all of the items we've currently saved. Now, of course, it will be empty while we're doing this, but you get the idea. So all we need to do is check whether this item we've just starred exists in this array yet. So what I'm going to do is say let saved items, and then I'll do an if statement in there. So if, and in there we just want to check if it's been starred or not. I suppose we could put this in its own property. Rather than doing the check on the array every time, we could do it in its own property. So underneath that saved items, I'll just create a const real quick. Const is saved, and this can just be saved items dot sum. Inside there, what sum does is it just checks a condition and sees if there's any items in the array which match that condition. As soon as it finds one, it just returns true. So in here we need to put the function that will run on every single item in the array while it makes the check. So I'll just put I there, which will be this element we're checking currently, and we'll say I.id equals item ID, which of course was passed into this object. So this will return true or false based on whether we have an item in the array, in the saved items array, which has an ID that matches the ID we have at the moment. So now we've got that is saved variable, we can just stick that in there. So if is saved is true, so if the item exists in the saved items array, we want to essentially unsave it. And what I'm going to do actually is rename this from saved items. I'm going to change it to new saved items, just so there's no name clash between that and that. So new saved items there, and then all we're going to do in there, we'll just say new saved items equals saved items, items dot filter, and then I dot ID is not equal to item ID. So all we've said is new saved items is going to be the saved items array, but we're filtering only on things where this condition is true. So only on things where the item ID doesn't match the item ID we have here. So essentially this will leave out the one that we have which has been saved. Cool. Underneath that I'll just stick an else block. Let me close down this file explorer. And in there, all we want to do is say new saved items equals saved items dot slice, and then underneath that we'll just say new saved items dot push, and then put item right there. So item, of course, was the item itself, the translation item. So slice basically just returns a copy of the array. The reason we need to do this first, and we can't just do this, for example, we can't just do dot push, is because this saved items array, which we get from the state, is read-only, meaning we can't update it, we can't change it. If you ran this, you'd run into an error because you're trying to modify an array which is read-only. So in order to do that, what we do is essentially create a copy of it, and then we just push that onto there, and then we'll simply override the state with this one here. So cool, all we have to do is pass this new saved items into the set saved items action. So in an object, so in the curly braces, we'll just put items and set new saved items there. So now that we're taking this, or now that we're saying that this set saved items received this object with an items property, let's go and update our saved items slice. So our set saved items reducer here, we're just going to say state.items equals action dot payload dot items, like that. Okay, that should be all we need. We do, of course, need to update the actual star button itself. So if I scroll down, where are we? We have this star button. We want to change the icon based on whether it's been starred or not. So do I have the icon for unstarring, whatever it is? So we've got star here. This is an end typo icon. So if I go back, we want the end typo one, don't we? We've got star and we've got star-outline. So when it's not saved, we want it to be star-outline. But let's go up to here and use the isSaved property. We can just put that underneath here and say const star icon equals isSaved. So if it has been saved, we'll just set it to star. If it hasn't, I need my my question mark in there, sorry. If it hasn't, we'll set it to, what was it? Star-outlined. Star-outlined. And then we'll just use that star icon in the element right here. So instead of star there, I'll just put that there. Okay, we should be good now. Let me put this there. And if I click this, you can see it's gone unstarred, I guess, in the icon. If I click this, it goes like that. Unclick it, it doesn't do anything. Okay, we can star it, but we can't unstar it. Great. Let's see what's going on here. Why would that be the case? So let me first put a couple of logs in here to make sure to see where it's hitting. Console.log. Put if, and I'll just put one in there for else as well. See which one of these it's hitting. So we're in the if. Oh wait, it unstarted it? Okay, that's going to restart, isn't it? Okay, we're always in the if. If is saved is true, the icon shouldn't be star, it should be star. No, it should be star, not star outlined. So the fact that the is saved property isn't matching up with the icon tells me that this function here is out of date. It needs to be re-rendered, aka I forgot to add a dependency. So I can see what it is from here. We're using this saved items. Make sure you put saved items here as a dependency, basically meaning if saved items changes, i.e. we add an item to it, make sure you re-render this function, otherwise it'll be out of date. So cool, let me remove those logs. I'm pretty sure this will work now. Let me save it. I'll refresh it for good measure. All right, let's do it. This is gonna work. I'm very confident. So star in it, and we can now unstar it too. So pretty cool. Let's just add something else to make sure you know, we can star individual ones. I'll just put something else in there as well. Okay, so we can star and unstar the correct ones. Yeah, cool, we're good. We can now star and unstar things. Of course, much like the history, when you restart the app, the state is lost because we haven't added any storage yet.